We're back playing more Castlevania Symphony of the Night Randomizer, looking into future potential for randomizers, randomizer tournaments even, because we all know that there hasn't really been any, like, God, I can't even remember the last time there was a randomizer tournament happening. Can you guys remember the last? I can't think of anything going on randomizer tournament wise. So of course, we want to start looking into potential good race presets, and I'm just going to play some, test some stuff out, try and have some fun, maybe do some races with the gang for future attempts. I did like the race that we did the other day. It was fun, and it got me to remember that, like, wait, actually, if we just choose presets that are kind of, like, different and fun, maybe we could have fun. Maybe if we choose presets that don't make me want to claw my eyes out, we could have fun again. And if we put our minds together to try and encourage presets that fix maybe some of the problems that have been, you know, discovered over the years, maybe we could have fun. I'm throwing it out there as a suggestion. Maybe we can have fun. Whee! And of course, here we are. Oh, this is actually perfect, because this is exactly the type of seed I want to test out, which is, of course, starting in the second castle. I am going to grab this warp right now, because our goal to finish this seed is we need all of the Vlad relics, and we need... actually, since we're just doing a test run, I do want to double check to make sure that this is correct. This should not be an active warp. This should just be a warp that I have just to have. Perfect. Okay. Because I think it is in our best interest to start in the second castle and be forced to choose whether or not we want to go to the start of the game and prioritize progression towards Castle Keep, or prioritize killing bosses, because the way that we finish the seed is we need all the relics and we need all the bosses. So I'm going to go fight Dracula Death right now. However, last time we tried this, we died, because fighting Death at level 1 is impossible. However, the new update gives us a few tools to make this not nearly as bad. So we're going to start with a Strength Potion, and a Smart Potion, and hopefully an Attack Potion as well. And this fight should be doable. I want him to stand still, and then we're going to try and nuke him with Tetra Spirit. Yes. Okay, perfect. Yeah, before when we tried this at level 1, it was, like, very, very annoying and difficult, because we would have him start with his really annoying attack first. Like, we couldn't get him out of the damage threshold to dodge that attack. That's fine. 14 damage is nothing. As long as I don't get hit by the scythe. And there we go. So, the trade-off is I just used all of those potions. Yeah, starting gear, I think random starting gear isn't in this version of it, but it should be in the future. Because I think the general random lycanthrope gear is good, mostly because of the Mystic Pendant. And that's nice and all, but, you know. Shield Rod spell. The Shield Rod spell gives you a int buff, which is cool and all, but ultimately not that consequential. So the other idea behind this preset that I think is fun is the idea that we have the movement options of Lycanthrope early. When we're in the second castle, we are gifted temporary, what's it called? High jump and... son of a bitch. Double jump, which helps with our movement. And we're gifted a few temporary buffs with the Strength Potion, Attack Potion, Int Potion, Defense Potion, stuff like that. So we have a suite of potions we can use to buff our character one time. So we use that versus the first boss that we fight, which happened to be Death this time. And now we're like, what, level 25? So we don't need those buffs anymore, because we're just level 25, which is a pretty fair level to be in the second castle. So before, it was scary to be in the second castle at level 1 until you killed a boss. Now you have the tools to fight a boss because of the buffs that we get. And now we can kind of play normally, which I think is a much better change than before. It is all Vlad relics and all bosses is the win condition. I'm just going to save now because I want the MP, as well as like just... I don't think we're necessarily at risk of anything bad happening in Doppelganger, but I think we do want to actually fight Doppelganger right now, even though it would maybe be more optimal to fight him later, because I want to not have to come back here outside of Galamoth, so... Yes, it always starts in the second castle. If you start next to a weak boss, I don't think that's a big deal, personally. Because starting with, like, a one-time potion, I don't think breaks the balance of the randomizer. I do want to see this with random starting weapons next. Oops. I think that would be great. Just random starting gear in general, instead of the shield rod stuff. Yeah, even at level 25, this is taking a while. Maybe in that scenario, we don't go strength potion and attack potion, and we save one of them for Doppelganger, perhaps. The other thing is, if I just find a better weapon in one of these spots, that is a pretty big potential time save. So, yeah, don't need that. We'll just move on. I don't want to do too many item checks here, but... I mean, you can risk not using it and finding a dupe, but at that point, you probably wouldn't need the potions. Yeah, of course. I feel like single-use potions are one of the least useful items in SotN, generally, from a speedrunner perspective, because the time it takes to open the menu and use it, most of the time, loses you more time than just doing the fight without the potion. Most of the time. The only time that is not the case is bosses that have an insanely high health pool, like Galamoth or Dracula, or in situations where you're a very low level, which is why I think starting with them in this preset makes a lot more sense. I think I'm going left side here. I think we go to Creature. So we essentially do left side for now. Reverse left side, if anything. Which is, again, one of the reasons why I like the idea of this preset, is we can have a preset... Ooh, Iron Shield. Huge drop. Where the second castle route is not set in stone, right? Because of where we spawned, we get to make the decision of, do I do in reverse left side and get Creature out of the way now, or do I do reverse right side and do more relic checks early, right? Imagine if the resist potions gave iframes instead of resistance. I mean, yeah, that would be, yeah, much better. If it was an immunity thing, Fist of Tulkas is nice. Where if you were just, oh, I'm now immune from lightning for a short period of time, it'd be so much more useful, for sure. You should be dead soon. There we go. Would be an easy change. That could be good. Power of Mist, yeah. The other thing is, the second castle generally will never have, not never, but like early on in the second castle, the logic of the randomizer has all of this stuff technically as out of logic checks. So it's not like you're going to be like, I need to check all of these second castle locations. We'll never need this to find like Jewel of Open or whatever necessarily. Like it's not like layer 0 is the second castle. So because of that, you're not like encouraged to do all the relic checks here. Like you don't have to, but you need to kill all of the bosses anyways, because I mean, you need to kill all the bosses. So with that in mind, you have the potential to get some relic checks done early, get some info on potentially where the seed might lead. Ultimately, I think the second castle start is like a really strong theme for this type of randomizer, and it doesn't have to just be this randomizer. I think other presets can do well with second castle start as well, as just a way to spice up the way that we play through the randomizer, especially if the preset itself logically doesn't need us to start in the second castle, because then you can end up in a situation where you get to use the knowledge of the game and the logic of the rando to make really interesting decisions. But either way. Can I please? Sure. I'll find a duplicator copium. The reason I'm checking those is because they are guaranteed to be single-use items, which generally are, you know. Oh, I forgot I had Iron Shield. Single-use items, the pool of single-use items is small enough that finding a library card or like a mana prism is more likely there. Okay. Ring of Vlad? Bro, is that not even randomized? Hold on. The heck? Damn, bruh. Buffalo Star implies the existence of Ranch Star and Barbecue Star? Hell yeah, dude. Delicious. I think I could do more item checks, but I think I'm actually better off just going back to the second castle right now. Because I don't think we're really going to find... We're not going to find in logic flight in the second castle ever. So I think we're better off going back to the first castle for now. The other reason, by the way, I think this preset is really good is because we start the we start the first castle here, which means no matter what, you will not have to deal with the Jewel of Open 50-50, which is a beautiful thing, in my opinion, because you're always doing this check first. You never are in the situation where it's like, oh, Jewel of Open start. I guess I either have to guess to go Caverns or guess to go Castle Keep. No, you just always start with Castle Keep, unless you have an early library card. But then at that point, it's on you for using the early library card. Jewel 50-50 is pretty bad. It's technically not a 50-50 because of the way that the, you know, stats work out, but still, you get what I'm saying. Come on. Give me that dragon helm. Yerp. We are gaming. Is the run going well? I mean, I'm having fun. So in that regard, yeah. I forgot how to do this movement not ass-like. Not like what one would do with an ass. Booty butt cheeks, if you will. Cool. I guess the downside of not exploring more of the second castle is I might have found, like, maybe mist or something. This could be tough. Because now... Okay, that library card is huge. Maybe I even go for an early library card gambit, because I have money. You know what I'm going to do? This is an insane play. I'm going to do a library card save split, I think. I will likely not have to come back here for any reason. But in a world where I want to keep this library card, I might revert. Maybe. But I have money. I want to see what's in here. I will likely not be reverting. There's like a very low chance, but it's possible. Karma coin. Gamblers, I'm so sorry, but we're kind of locked in right now. Shop does not seem to have much going on. Really? Other than the karma coin? Marcel, but I already have good weapons. So...
Farewell for now.
The thing is... Whoa! I fucked that up big time. We jump there. We're probably going to find progression. Yeah. So I probably can't reset. Much as I would like to. It is very likely that we find progression here. And even if it's at Spirit Orb, which would be the only reason why this library card is not as good, I think we still save enough time on movement, basically coming here early, that it's fine. Right? there's very few library cards that are going to be as powerful. I guess the biggest way that we get punished here is if we didn't find the progression in the second castle that we needed to. Theoretically, what I could have done in the second castle, which could have been interesting, was stay in the second castle, full clear, up until... Oh, it is Spirit Orb. Wow. Okay. Well, then in that case, I'll just grab this warp and leave. Why is Alucard's purple? You can't just ask people why their color is different than what you expect. That's, like, not chill. You can't just ask people, hey, so why are you purple? You know? Like, that's... I think there's supposed to be laws against that. I am doing some extra item checks here because another library card would be nice. Don't get me wrong. But yeah. Yeah, he had a Willy Wonka accident, okay? Come on, be respectful. Who up wonking they Willy? I'm sure I'm not the first person to come up with that joke. Oh. So we're going this way. We're going to find, at worst, Jewel of Open, which, like I said, if this is the Jewel of Open 50-50, we're fine. If we find, like, Leapstone or whatever, then we go up to Colosseum, which is good for us, because that would be the next progression location, I think. That's a Holy Sword, and it is... I think that was Leapstone. Yeah, okay. Which is great, because we're right next to Colosseum, which is the next progression location anyways. And a boss. We also have the means to do... what's it called? The... Nice job, me. No, dude, I'm fucking gaming? We can do a lot of checks here. If I need to fight Sagar and Gaibon right now, I can, and do the relic check with the double jump reset stuff, which is good. But we'll likely find gravity boots in the next location. It can't be Mist's flight because we already found Power of Mist was in the second castle. Or at least it wouldn't be in logic flight that way, I should say. I can't remember what the special star from the shield rod does. It blocks projectiles. Did I get a new controller? Yes, actually I did. For specifically for Order of Ecclesia speedruns, I did. And it seems to be working just fine. And we got Bat as our form of flight. Okay, I feel pretty good about this route. What preset is this? It's a new-ish preset. It's essentially all bosses, all Vlad relics required. Second castle start, Lycanthrope. And the best part is, here's the thing. There are two different routes you can do here. Generally. That I could have tried to do. Which was, stay in the second castle for longer. Which I think there is merit to doing that route. Or explore the first castle some more. Which, if you explore the first castle, you get Soul of Bat early. But Soul of Bat isn't that big of a deal in this preset. Because you have wolf movement. So it's like... nice to have, don't get me wrong, but it's not nearly the end-all, be-all like it is in other presets. I feel like this preset has the chance to be really balanced regardless of route, which is the goal in my mind. The goal is, if you pick a route and your opponent picks the other route, that the end time, if playing both of those routes optimally, should be within like a minute or two of each other, right? Or there's enough route decisions such that all of those ideas kind of coalesce into one idea that ends up not being that bad in the long run. Like right now, I have every flight location available to check. I don't think there's like a reason not to just do them conveniently, like as quickly as possible, you know? Do you kill Drac in the ABR SR run? Yes. Yes, we start with all the wolf relics in this preset. Every time I see Richter in this cutscene, I feel joy because we worked hard to get his palette to work. It's really cool, yeah. I ain't gonna lie. That shit kind of epic style. Ah! Tooth! We only need 2 more Vlads. Ooh, if yeah, if Jewel of opens in the second castle, that might hurt us quite a bit. Because that means staying in the second castle was probably better, right? But it's not like that big of a deal, I feel like. Because, I mean, we need to kill all the bosses anyways. So we're still making progress. So. You even randomize the cutscenes you'd never see in the randomizer? Which cutscene? What cutscenes you talking about? That you don't see in the randomizer? Oh, are you talking about the ones with Maria? I'm just gonna kill this guy now. Get it out of the way. Maria, Clock Room, and Alchemy Lab. Gotcha. Yep, fair enough. Oh, question, actually. Do we... I guess maybe I'll talk about it with you in a place where I can express my thoughts better instead of in the middle of the run. But I was thinking about the idea of the load zones between the map and, like, the boss maps. Like, do we know how to maybe manipulate those? I don't need cube for any reason. Because, like, there is a load that happens when you load in a new boss fight or whatever. So can that load be used to send you to a different boss load? And if so, can that be randomized? It's kind of like the thought process that I was going down the other day. The thing is you would then need to swap back the original room, I think, if you are loading in, like, a new boss room. Right? And it wouldn't work with certain bosses, like Lesser Demon and Slugger Gaibon, because those don't have loads. Because then, theoretically, if you could do all that, I don't Gravity Boots. You could make, like, a boss rando. I didn't save split this, but I didn't really want to, so it's fine. Oh, no, the screen transition! Ah! It hurts us! I don't think the Cube of Zoe lore is, like, real. Maybe it's real, I don't know. But apparently it's just a localizer named it after their daughter or something. It uses the palette of the area you're in. So you can't, like, hijack that load. You can't be jacking the loads, is what I mean. You're not a load jacker. You guys can't program a way to jack the loads. The idea being that you just hijack the load to then send you to a different zone completely, which would be, yeah. That was the idea I had. I imagine there's a reason it hasn't been looked into yet, because it sounds way too easy. You can load wherever you want. So then theoretically, if you take the load zone between, like the load zone that loads in Doppelganger 10, right? You walk through there, you tell the game, don't load Doppelganger 10's room, instead load Cerberus's room, right? Although, and then when you exit that room, it sends you back to the original room that you came from, would be the idea, right? So then you go through the Cerberus load after killing Cerberus, and it's like, okay, now we send you back to Outer Wall. I do foresee some issues with that, primarily with bosses that don't load. I think, how many bosses don't have a load screen? It's like Slugger Gaibon, Lesser Demon. Yeah, it just warps you to the location of the other boss, and then you hijack the load of the boss to send you back to where you came from. Because then in that case... Oh, but then the issue is... Oh, I see. Because the problem would be after you kill the boss, you can't do that anymore. It can't warp you properly afterwards, is the problem. Like, if I kill Doppelganger 10, leave the room, and then try and go back through that room, you can't load Cerberus again, because there's no load zone there anymore. Unless you load in the Cerberus fight again. But then in that case, you're not actually doing a boss randomizer, because it'd be an infinitely respawning boss. I have gravity boots? Yeah, well, you know. Sorry, I was too busy. This is why I didn't want to have this discussion, because it's distracting me. I think that would be the primary issue, is once you've killed the boss, how do you load the correct room? Yeah, once you kill the boss warp wouldn't happen anymore. Exactly. And alternatively, when it sends you back to the correct location, quote unquote, what's the issue? I'm thinking about it holistically. I am in the outer wall. I go through the room for Doppelganger 10. It sends me to the boss room with Cerberus, right? I then leave that room back to the outer wall, therefore making it feel like a boss randomizer. You have essentially replaced Doppelganger 10 with Cerberus, right? What do you then do when I say, oh wait, I have to go back to the Doppelganger 10 room for whatever reason? How do you then load? What room do you load? Once Cerberus has been defeated, what room do you load? Do you send them back to Cerberus's room? If so, it'd be the outer wall room with no boss. But then how would you then load in Doppelganger 10 later? I guess that can be done? You're essentially deleting the boss temporarily? It's a separate zone. Oh, wait, then that would work. Right? Okay, I see what you're saying. Let's just say that for simplicity, we just swap the two, right? Then you go through Cerberus's zone. It then loads in the fight with Doppelganger 10 instead. Okay. So it would essentially be a boss randomizer in a sense outside of that scenario of Slugger Gaibon, Lesser Demon, and Darkwing. Those ones are the odd ones out. I guess the thing I was concerned about is, like, would that cause problems with deleting bosses? Because if I if I kill Cerberus and then it loads in the Doppelganger boss room after the fact, but empty, I thought that would then mean that you can't fight Doppelganger later, but they are separate zones, which makes sense, yeah. So, theoretically, that could be a way to... Because I think that's basically what Aria does. I mean, that is pretty much exactly what Aria does for their boss randomizer. Is it just warps you to the boss room. But the issue with that one is I think they have them fully swapped always. This preset is second castle start Lycanthrope with all bosses, all Vlads as the win condition. Well, that's the same thing in Aria of Sorrow. Aria of Sorrow has 2 bosses that can't be randomized. Creaking Skull. Okay, thank God. Creaking Skull and what the fuck is his name? Manticore? I think can't be randomized for whatever reason. Those are always vanilla. And they essentially have a similar situation. Where it just warps you to the other room. His name's Steve, yeah. My name is Steve. Guy who gets his memes mixed up. My name is Steve. Guy who wakes up from a coma after 5 years wants to stay relevant with memes going on in the pop cultures. I don't know. There's a way to make that funny. I tried. I tried my best here. We still need to kill Hippogriff. We'll keep that in mind. Perhaps, maybe we are rewarded. It's that easy, folks. I think I want to go here, 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 here. Yeah. All double shielded, I think. What up, Ren? Congratulations on being freed from your shackles. Yeah. The only thing that sucks is Galamoth is still alive. I mean, you could always just save Galamoth for later. I have the warp, so it's whatever. And theoretically, I could have tried to make Galamoth my first boss if I was worried about that, so. But I do think it's probably better to just save him for later. Ideally, I want to collect all the Vlads in the first castle if I can, then go back to the second castle to finish it up. Unfortunately, I think there's a world where Mist or Merman statue is required, so we end up having to come back here anyways. Hello? So I think the library card usage is kind of screwing me over, and me not sticking to the first castle for longer, or sorry, second castle for longer is also screwing me over, but realistically, I'm still making progress with all of these checks, and like, you know, it could be worse is what I'm saying. I don't think this is that bad. But I do think right now, staying in the second castle feels like it probably was the optimal route, which might just be the meta for this type of preset. You just stay in the second castle as long as possible, potentially. And if that's the case, then I skill issued by choosing to leave early. Because all I've got for joining all I got out of going to the first castle early was Bat, which is nice, but in Lycanthrope, you don't really need it, you know? So. However, I do have all of the Vlads, except for one, and that is going to be the Complexity Vlad, most likely. I don't see a world how it's not. So. Now, what if this had the Impossible Challenge rules? I was thinking of a way to maybe change up the Impossible Challenge and bring it back. I might do that as part of the fundraiser stream for my move. When that comes up, probably sometime next month. Speaking of, I actually find out the schedule of GDQ today. Everybody does. So that'll be nice. I'll finally know what day I'm doing my speedrun on. Yes, crazy. However, the issue is that's not guaranteed if I need to go to the second castle anyways to find, like, a mermaid statue, you know? So it would have been faster if I did all that stuff first because of mermaid statue. Or potentially missed, you know? Why do I dive kick all the time? Because I'm super epic, sexy style or something? I don't know. If you're questioning the movement I do, the answer is probably because it's faster. It's fine, you won't need it. The issue is I'm thinking about the number of complexity locations left is, because we've already done glasses, and we didn't get glasses from it. We got, what did we get from that, actually? We got Jewel of Open, yeah. So, we're in a spot now where this is probably just glasses. So I think Mist is required. Mist or Merman is required to be the next step in complexity, which means it has to be. So I think we are just fucked, actually. Looking at the logic, I think we are screwed by not having stayed in the second castle, which is fine, by the way. I think that is fine. This wasn't the glasses. Rutrow. I guess theoretically, there's no difference between this location in logic and Grand Falunia, because I already had Echo before this on a different. Yeah, the thing that unlocked this entire area for me was Jewel of Open. So Jewel of Open is the complexity relic that opened this area, because I already had Bat and I already had access to Echo. So none of this is like complexity. Let's do this because I think it's slightly cheaper MP wise. I was really kind of just banking for a library card there. Yeah. Tough call. Forgot the hamburger. No! Amera card? How do I change Alucard's name to Amera card? Oh, wait a minute. Well, now we're getting to the part where maybe there is no... No, there has to be a complexity relic. Is the complexity relic... It's got to be mist locked, maybe? Yeah, if mist is at symbol, is it possible that the final Vlad is locked by mist and so is glasses? Or I guess theoretically, the same issue would be glasses is the complexity thing, and then the final Vlad is just somewhere in the second castle. That's ideal for us, by the way. If the final Vlad is just chilling somewhere in the second castle, we're golden, right? Yeah, glasses it. I think that is technically possible. I haven't done the complexity count yet in my head, though. Hello? Help, I am stuck. Step Salem Witch, I am stuck. Help. Why do we skip spikes? What? You mean the spike breaker hallway? We didn't skip it. I just did it first. I don't tend to count complexity. Well, the thing about counting complexity is it most of the time doesn't help. Very, very rarely does it help, and it usually just ends up confusing you. Because theoretically, you could be like, oh, this is definitely the 8th count. I've done the math. I understand that this is the 8th step in the complexity chain. The thing is, sometimes the seed's like, actually, it was a 9 complexity, so get fucked, idiot. Oh, you thought 8 was the last step just because it was the minimum possible last step? Joke's on you, stupid. And it's like, yeah, fair. You got me. Woof woof. Bjarg bjarg. The dog goes bjarg bjarg. We're saved! Holy shit, dude. Never punished. The only issue is a library card would go silly style right now. How? No, because I need to do Lesser Demon anyways. I was going to say, skipping library could be kind of hot, though. See, I told you we were fine. We live in the most unlikely of worlds. This was not the... Well, I guess they're equally likely, but in my mind, this felt incredibly unlikely. I think I'm going to go to Outer Wall from here. I guess. I don't know, man. With no library card, I actually don't know the optimal route. I'm just thinking the Marble Gallery has a long stretch where you can just run as doggo form, and that's got to be faster than going back to the teleporter. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the teleporter would have been faster. Oops. Don't hit me! Ask Ren how lucky I am in these situations. Sometimes you still just gotta... It is a randomizer at the end of the day, so... And the thing is, I don't think full clearing second castle would have been that bad either. You maybe waste, like, a minute total by not having the movement relics or by killing Beelzebub, for example, and then having to go to a warp room after or something. Why did I go up the elevator like it mattered? Jesus Christ, I'm stupid. So, like, I think ultimately both routes ended up, in this case, being pretty much the same. Maybe a little. One is maybe slightly better than the other. Yeah, it's some efficiency is lost, but it's not that end of the world, which is ultimately what my goal is for these types of randomizers, where if you make a decision that's different than your opponent, I don't want that to be, well, you lost GG's instantly. I want it to be like, okay, both routes have their pluses and minuses, and they, like, are close to even. I think this route ends up being better, but it wasn't guaranteed to be better. But it also depends on what items you find in the second castle, for example. If there's like a duplicator and an extra library card, it's like, goddamn, that's a good find, you know? Which obviously is, yeah, not like something that you can control for, but still. I'm ultimately just trying to find ways to help the routes not feel terrible from one another, such that the actual execution of your route matters a lot. Not that it's the only thing that matters, but I still want the execution of your route to matter enough. Like, if I do the best route, but I just am making movement mistakes all over the place, and someone does the second best route, but their movement is perfect, I would want the person who does the second best route perfectly to probably win in that scenario. And if both players play perfect, but one picks the better route, then, like, yeah, you know, that it is what it is. But I don't want it to be so different that it's like, oh, you lost by like 20 minutes. I want it to be like, oh, you lost by 2 minutes. It's like, okay, the routes were close enough that, you know, the small movement mistakes that one person makes over another, because no one's going to actually play perfectly, actually matters. You know what I mean? Like, if I played 5% better and my opponent played 5% worse, then, like, I'm winning that scenario. Even if I'm, like, technically 2 minutes behind based off of the route that I chose. And there's so many micro decisions that happen all the time. Like, do I stop to refill my mana? Do I open the menu to equip a new item? Like, all those tiny decisions add up. And those are the things that I would like to be meaningful. Thank you, Northern Wolf. I appreciate it. I am going to check this because there's a chance that this is the final Vlad. But it's not guaranteed. Oops. Your boy's bad at the game. Hold on. Yep. I think this is equally likely to be final Vlad alongside all of the second castle checks. Yeah, okay. But how many second castle checks are there left? There's not that many left. So if I was metagaming, I think you actually skip this. And you just go to the second castle. That actually makes the second castle route slightly better because you get to skip. Actually, yes, if I had done second castle first, I would have had the info of the final Vlad, which means I would have been able to skip a few checks. Like Spike Breaker, I would have been able to skip. This check I would have been able to skip because I would have already had all of the Vlads in my inventory. So all of a sudden, second castle is better again. And I don't know why, but it fills me with maybe some feelings that perhaps maybe these routes being very close in that regard feels pretty good. Because alternatively, I guess you're doing extra checks in the second castle, perhaps, but the only extra checks is like what, Myrrh or Force of Echo, which I already did by doing left side. Why are there no 200.6% runs? There are 200.6% runs. It's like one of my most watched YouTube videos on the main channel. Is my breakdown of the world record 200.6% run. Now, why do other people not do it? Because they're cowards.
.6% D's nuts.
Also that. Actually, that's probably the bigger reason, let's be real. What up, Diagon? 200.6% is fine. I just value what little sanity I have left. 200.6% is actually very annoying. Mostly due to the fact that if you want to do it optimally, you can't spend too much time checking your inventory or checking your map. Oh, I have to reapply directly to the forehead. Roof Wolf bullet points is it's lycanthrope. You start in the second castle. All bosses and all Vlads are required. Oh, yeah. Brutal stuff here. I mean, it's not that bad for us, but it does hurt a little bit. Because I think all of the other Vlads are locked behind bosses, so we can't even skip anything with this info. Damn. I'm going to run out of mana. Is it the same route as all bosses, all Vlads? No. 200.6 is a very... Again, if you want to find out how that speedrun works, I have a video explaining it on the main channel. It's like a pretty in-depth breakdown of the entire run. I do commentary over it and explain what's going on. Fight Akmadon, then teleport for Galamoth. Yeah, probably. That's probably the correct route here in this scenario because we have to fight Galamoth. Dude, if this is a library card, okay. That was for my own, that was a sanity check. Because if I had an extra library card, that would have made the second castle route even better. I guess on the bright side, I have Alucard Shield right now, which I wouldn't have had. Which will speed up the boss fights, but probably not by over 2 minutes. So I am doing the boss fights faster, because I think my best weapon at this point would have still been Shield Rod and Iron Shield. And Iron Shield was a random drop, so... Paid actor? Yes, I am a paid actor telling you to check out youtube.com/DragonBlitz, the main channel that I upload to infrequently, but with some banging stuff, including the new video, ! New vid. People are saying it's the greatest video ever made of all time. Very underappreciated by YouTube, Mr. YouTube's algorithm. You cannot... Okay. So putting a goal of 200.6 as a end goal can be done, but it doesn't make sense for the current randomizer community because the tools that we use to track the relics deletes map data. Because the last time I tried to do a 200.6% randomizer, it was deleting stuff from my map, which made it impossible. Also, I'm fucking this up. I need to go to Galmoth. I forgot. Oopsies. Yeah, we lost a little bit of time there. And my mana's really low, which is actually more time lost, but... The leak prevention is a problem for that. You have to stop the randomizer from pissing itself? Wait, what? Yeah, Dragon Blitz Archive is better than me. Yeah, the Dragon Blitz Archive channel is almost up and running fully. For those that don't know, Twitch is deleting my library of Alexandria, aka all of my Twitch highlights that I've made over the last 12 years of streaming. So I've been in the process of downloading and re-uploading all of those to a YouTube channel. And it's almost up to date. I am almost done with 2020. And there's not that much stuff that's 2020. I think after 2022 is when I stopped highlighting stuff and instead just uploading I just uploaded them directly to YouTube. Oh, I'm big mad. Yeah, the second castle route would have been better. For sure. That library card. Sheesh. Did I skip trio? I'm going back for trio later. I intentionally was on my way to trio, realized that that route was not as good, and turn around. Because it's better to kill Galamoth now because I saved him for last. So I'm not even going to check this relic because it can't be anything good. I just need to kill the boss. And the reason I'm doing this way is because I want to end on Beelzebub because he is closer to the end goal that I want, which is the final area. Oh, he's coming! Yo, what up, Todd? He's coming! He's coming! What do I do? Hey! Thank you very much for the 11 months. I appreciate you. That's a lot to just toss. So, Twitch needs to save money. Needs to save money. Because they are pressured from Amazon to somehow become profitable at some point, maybe. I don't know. So, storing giga, peta, ultra bytes on their servers indefinitely does cost money. I get it. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's just really annoying because it's a lot of tedious work of downloading everything using a third-party tool because Twitch's download feature is non-existent. So, Twitch is not profitable now. Twitch is not a profitable company. It never has been. Amazon acquired Twitch specifically for their live streaming technology, which they then rolled up and now use for Amazon, like, movies or whatever. So Amazon just wanted a video streaming company to essentially buy their infrastructure to roll up and then use for, like, Prime Movies or whatever. So the infrastructure that is Prime Movies is Twitch. They use the same thing. And also Twitch lends out their infrastructure to other companies like Kick, for example. I don't know if this is still the case, but last I knew, the entire streaming platform of Kick.com is essentially just a clone of Twitch. And Twitch sells them the AWS server space to essentially be a clone of Twitch. So Amazon is much more interested in, like, the technology side of things. They don't really care about running a video game live streaming platform. But Twitch itself as a company is definitely not profitable. Yeah, what Balthazar said. Anyone can use Twitch's underlying tech. It's called Amazon AWS IVS. Yeah. I'm not super knowledgeable on it. This is just like me repeating talking points I've heard because I don't understand it in full, but YouTube is profitable. Well, YouTube, I think, is profitable because they are an advertising company, and Twitch is not an advertising company. YouTube is one of the most complicated and robust advertising companies of all time. Twitch does not have nearly the same pull for ads that Twitch, like YouTube, sells and monetizes more ads than Twitch ever could, like daily. And also, YouTube is like orders of magnitude larger than Twitch as a company, like as far as daily users go. What last I checked, I think the number is 2 billion people use YouTube daily. Where Amazon or Twitch, I think, is like around 100,000, 200,000, something like that, daily users. So we're looking at like multiple orders of magnitude larger. It's like a couple 100,000 users, I think, daily for Twitch versus the billions. So, you know, the scale of profitability, I think, is higher there. So
How is it that I've been so defeated?
GG.
You've been doomed ever since.
Yeah, Seed
you
was
lost
fun.
The ability to love. Sarcasm. For what profit is it to a man if he gains the world and loses his own soul?
It's incredibly hard to do this and profit and not be scuzzy. Yeah, I could see that. Ultimately, Twitch is a platform that is much more about advertising and influence, I guess, than it is about the live streaming side of things. You know, if you can influence culture via your platform and the streamers on it, then you can then use that as a means of, you know,
love you for all of eternity.
Increasing some amount of, you can leverage that in some ways that become profitable down the line, even if it's not directly profitable, right? So I like this idea. There are skips you can do, but they aren't as polarizing. That was ultimately my goal with trying to work on this kind of preset. And like, I don't think it's perfect necessarily, but I think it is a step in the right direction. And I think with some tweaks, like the randomized items and stuff like that, we can get it even closer to something that's a little bit more universally fun. And I think there are more presets along this line of starting in the second castle, requiring all bosses, indeed, that can lend itself to new experiences in the randomizer that are fun to race, but don't feel samey every single time. Because with me, I was worried that the left side versus right side gamble always felt bad. And on top of that, if you force it to just be all bosses, then most of the time, once you get to the second castle, the optimal route is always going to be some modified left side, warp back, and then do right side afterwards. But if you start in a random location in the second castle, now all of a sudden, wait, my second castle route is different every time because my starting location is different every time. And then that kind of cascades into also eliminating the castle keep 50-50 with early Jewel of Open like we talked about. I think there's some incidental synergies that end up fixing a lot of the problems, which is nice. But maybe there is something better out there. But until then, I'm pretty happy with how this is right now. And I'm going to continue to test in the future, where you can also watch, if you're watching on YouTube, if you like, comment, and subscribe. And then join the live stream, twitch.tv/DragonBlood, so you can watch live. I don't know. I had fun with this, and we're going to do more of this. See you next time, YouTube. Have a good one. Bye-bye.